Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to Jay's One Key Event 4th edition. We are rolling right along this finals weekend with the final match of the weekend, and it is a heavyweight bout. It is going to be Sleeby Maddy going up against Spanner Dude for the final spot in the grand finals, at least on the loser's bracket. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in commentary booth this time around by none other than Sunny. How's it going, man?
It has been going wonderful. I have really been anticipating this match ever since I saw the outcome of the previous match of Maddy versus Zubin. Zubin being knocked out by Maddy, and that going to be taking, I believe, a 5th place spot. But for this match, this will be a history-defining match. Because excluding any forms of One Key World Cup or Sparks' 2 Key event or whatnot, we're gonna see a new face on the podium for the first time.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've seen different permutation on that podium. I mean, Grape Tea and Hertz securing the other 2 spots. No surprise there, in all honesty. Surprised at some of the score lines, I will say, that we saw this weekend from them. But, I mean, at the very tippy top, there's such little room for error that it's not surprising that it swings either way. They're so close to each other. So, for this one, I'm not too sure who has an advantage here. These are 2 incredibly accurate players. These are 2 very physically capable players. It really just comes down to who really woke up on the right side of the bed today to take it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and although the score lines were different, Spanner Dude did have to play an extra map against Peaceful. Relatively, when it comes down to the bread and butter, these 2 players basically almost played the same amount of maps here. Maddy going up 66-3 against Zubin just yesterday, and both of these players actually did play this map in their previous match. Funny enough, as the final match or final map in their match. So kind of funny. We're kind of flipping the script. It's now the first map being played. And so both players know what's at stake here. They played the map before. Hopefully they've done their homework, studied their opponent. This map has a lot to give to you. It's very doublet heavy. Lots of random flams here and there that can definitely throw you off if you're not careful. But here we go.
Yeah, your prototypical 2L type style of chart is just polyrhythms all over the place, different snapped little bursts here and there, a couple of different sequencings as well. You're not ending every stream on the right hand. Spanner Dude going with the mirror on this one, getting the lineups according for now. But as we get past this first quarter of the map, both players virtually tied. Spanner Dude actually picking up a rush of 200s on that really fast 1/8 sequence. Gonna drop them down about 0.2% in comparison to Maddy, giving them the opening lead here, about 2,000 points with 2/3 of the map left to go.
Yeah, and especially with this more heavy polyrhythmic section, there's so many timings that you have to adjust to. And Maddy actually going to step on the wrong foot on one of those polyrhythms. And although she's keeping that FC intact, she is rushing a lot of these judgments, a lot of 50s and 100s there. That'll actually send her down into the 98 range. And now 12,000 points separate these 2 heading into the back half of the map. There is still map left at play. Still a lot to go, but it's going to take a lot for Maddy to climb back up. But she can do it. She's had a prolonged history of climbing things up very fast. And there's a break from Spanner Dude, misreading a flam. And now 7,000 points and shrinking now in the mix here.
What of the map left to go here? 9,000 points gone in an instant as Maddy above that 400 combo cap, going to be able to wrench this lead back potentially from Spanner Dude. It's flickering back and forth as Spanner Dude makes a recovery run, but Maddy trades the miss back, going to give Spanner Dude back the cushion that they had lost. They still need to get back over that 400 combo cap to start making some inroads, but starting to increase that lead back to where it was and further beyond. 16,000 points with a tiny sliver of the map left to go. Anything can still happen. This outro is incredibly awkward to read through, but you feel like Spanner Dude might have done just enough to see themselves through to the end.
Yeah, you talk about the ending there, and right there, Spanner Dude crosses that 400 combo cap and will snag a break point here. It was looking very dicey heading into the back half of this map, but unfortunately, Maddy picking up just a bit too many judgments near the ending. And Spanner Dude going to jump out early here and take the first break point of this match. Both players only scoring one miss, which is definitely a statement, if I do say so myself, for a map like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them, dare I say, not hitting the marks from their earlier matches. Definitely a bit of pressure potentially creeping into the performance. It's hard to replicate some of these results sometimes. These maps are so tricky to read through, and the fact that they both made it through with just the singular miss is a testament to how consistent they can be at times. So, I mean, early breakpoint going the way of Spanner Dude, up to their next pick, LN2, and I think this is where we guys are seeing a little bit of a break between the two of them, where I think Spanner Dude might feel that little bit more comfortable on these LN charts. I think just historically, they've been a really good LN player, and it translates very well into their one key performances. So, you have to wait and see if they can successfully capitalize on this.
This is a very dicey pick, in my opinion. I know, like, this is almost, I want to say, a gamble, but also at the same time, you do bring up a very good point of Spanner Dude's just long note of history, being one of the United Kingdom's greats in long note, but you really have to take into consideration as well, we are not playing 4-key here. This is a 1-key tournament, and also, Maddy is no stranger to being an LN pro. She has capitalized off of these LNs and has relied on them heavily throughout this tournament, and also those hybrids. So I feel this is going to be either just, I feel like it's going to come down to just who can hit those releases better, who can keep those 200s low, and if worse comes to worse, who has the better ratio in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no surprise Spanner Dude goes for this. They scored a 987k on this compared to Maddy's 917 in their respective matches. So maybe just relying on that result. But I mean, to be fair, they're just so comfortable with LN style charts. But if the last map performance is anything to speak about, anything can change here. Don't want to discount Maddy on their pursuit to try and get this breakpoint back. Still very early days here, but this would definitely help restore some of that confidence from losing that first pick as we get this map underway.
Yeah, you really have to think here that, like, Spanner Dude is under so much pressure here. It's almost like he's gonna have to do some form of magic here. And also on the side of Maddy, like, this is one of the most important moments in JOKE4 history for both these players, and they've been through so much. And right now, these players have to defend properly against their, like, pretty much, like, their score here, as it is down to basically you can, oh my goodness, only 1,000 points in favor of Spanner Dude right now. Oh my goodness.
There's some ridiculous starts from both of these players. Both of them still holding on to their FCs, separated only by about a 10%. But Maddy finds the drop on the transition.
No!
The slider break, dropping them down into that mid 99% range and giving Spanner Dude the cushion that they need to work with here. 10,000 points can evaporate in an instant on the trade back, but they're still holding on to the FC here with a third of the map left to go and building on that accuracy. 4/10 the buffer between the two of them as things stand.
Oh, I don't think Maddy was expecting to do that now, but Spanner Dude finds the trade, and that is a very detrimental spot as well, because Maddy just stepped up to that 400 combo cap, and this is a very nasty section where Maddy can climb that accuracy very fast if she pinpoints these LNs down to their release point. And right now, this lead is slowly but surely shrinking away, but we're gonna have to see a bit more from Spanner Dude. Their accuracy is still ahead of Sleeby Maddy, but it's not by much. It's closing in now, about 900th of a percentage, and Maddy right now. There's the next break from Spanner Dude. This is exactly what Maddy does best. Pull the rug last minute when your opponent falters most. And Spanner Dude at the very end picking up a break, and Maddy going to take one back here and tie things up at 1, forcing another breakpoint.
what an overscore from Maddy. 60,000 point improvement from their first run yesterday to take the point back, and we are all square once again. Effectively, a best of 9 between the two of them now. Yeah, I think it's a best of 9.
Yes. Yeah, this is a best of 9 now. And it came down, like I said, to those extra judgments. As you can see, Spanner Dude popping off with the better ratio here, just by roughly less than 100, 300s of difference. But you can see those extra 50s, those extra 100s really pulled in. And hold on, I gotta take this phone call real quick.
Oh my goodness. That is a ridiculous way to answer back. I just got what you meant.
I love this song solely because of that opening. But I honestly not expecting. I mean, honestly, I was kind of expecting this to come out for Maddy, as like I mentioned, one of the LN gods in the 1-key scene. I feel it only makes sense we see LN 1. But going off the pattern we saw last match against Zubin, she didn't really head towards those LNs quite fast. She actually dug down into that more hybridy range, and even I don't think she touched the speeds though. I think that was more Zubin, but could be interesting to see how this one will play out in either of these players' favors.
Yeah, this is definitely potentially different than what we might have been expecting, but for right now, I mean, on this one, only 3,000 points separating the two players in terms of common score between the two of them, and that's just one hiccup potentially. There was a multitude of misses on their first runs. These opening bursts, the doublets, the triples as well, incredibly fast to read through, very easy to bottom out and miss entire sections. But I mean, these two are just on another level. But Spanner Dude going to be finding the first drop just after that 400 combo cap to give Maddy a tiny bit of breathing room here. 5,000 points through this opening quarter.
Yeah, and I think also Maddy probably taking notes on Rice 3 here with these flams. This is a very flam-heavy map, and Spanner Dude did misread some of those flams very, very roughly. And even though they are out-acting Maddy by 0.2% here, it's just going to be that one miss at this current moment. As now, although Spanner Dude does have the opportunity to climb things up to that 400 combo cap, that is less than 5,000 points of difference separating these two players, and there's still a lot more map to go, as it's just a little bit of a break for these players to catch their breath, dial themselves back in, and prep themselves for what's going to happen next, because this back half is extremely difficult.
Oh, as Spanner Dude finding yet another slider break on this calmer section in comparison to the rest of the chart. He'll probably feel like it's missing on air compared to how light, or with how light this is in comparison to the rest of the chart, and that is going to finally drop them below Maddy's accuracy as well, and Maddy taking full advantage. 18,000 points to cushion now. That being said, we have seen leads like this evaporate before. There's still a quarter of the map left to go, and when it picks up, it is full throttle till the end here.
Yeah, and Spanner Dude basically nearing that 400 combo cap, but it's going to be a lot for Maddy to really give. But like you said, like, these score leads can vanish in an instant, and right now, both these players breezing through that first section, and there is a bit of a heavy flam section right here. Lots of these very fast bursts, and Maddy gonna pick up a few 200s, but we're gonna have to see more than that if Spanner Dude wants a shot to potentially get back-to-back-to-back breakpoints here. But as the map concludes, Maddy not going to budge one bit and capitalize on those misses, grab that FC, and take the lead.
That is a clutch FC right there. It's two overscores in a row. Spanner Dude also finding about 10,000 points of an improvement, but the misses are just being their undoing right now, and that's how close these two are, where singular mistakes are costing entire points. There aren't these moments where you feel like you can breathe. It's like, oh yes, one person missed, it's over. No, there's opportunity all over the place, and with all things square, effectively off of the opening two picks, we're gonna go for speed 2.
300 BPM speed, and I feel like this is where I think maybe Spanier is going to test things out on how the skill cap goes, because, I mean, both these players are insanely good at speed. They can play stuff extremely fast, but maybe Spanier wants to see if Maddy has hit the skill cap, as this is the fastest map we've seen in speed in Joke 3, or not Joke 3, Joke 4. I wish we were in Joke 3, but no.
Yeah, we must move forward. We must progress. This is one of the few maps where there is not a common score between the two of them. We only have Spanner Dude's score to work off, and that is a 982k that, I mean, they're going to need to replicate with how things have been going if they want to keep things square here. But with how Maddy's been playing, it's going to be tough sledding. But they admitted themselves in the RC didn't practice this one as much as some of the other maps in this pool, so gonna have to wait and see how they perform.
Yeah, and you can already see this map extremely unforgiving in that opening, as Maddy does rush a bit of the opening burst here, and still continues, as you can see that unstable rate really just almost in the early greens at some point in time, and Maddy picking up a lot of 200s here on Spanner Dude, keeping their composure here, and there's a break, and I think this is what Spanner Dude has been looking for, is to take advantage of that more physicality section, as Maddy is down in the 97 range in the break.
Yeah, there's so many sections where you could potentially find yourself over streaming, and as soon as you overhit any of those bigger streams, that one probably just feels more like a, okay, yeah, I'm 2% down, but let me just make sure I don't like overstrain myself type of a situation. But 45,000 points in favor of Spanner Dude, the correct read at the end of the day from their side. Still holding on to the FC, a third of the map left to go is incredibly impressive on a map as physically demanding as this.
But yeah, as we head into the last quarter of the map here, Spanner Dude 70,000 points in their court right now, as the final streams come raining down here. Maddy gonna pick up some more breaks. I think that stamina maybe slowly but surely running out here, but there is not much of this map left to offer, and Spanner Dude going to really fire back here and really gonna make it pronounced as they tie this match up yet again at 9 200s and only 100.
That's crazy. That is a ridiculous score from Spanner Dude there to level things up once again, down to a best of 7 now, as Maddy decides to rip off the bandit. We're going into those hybrids. Hybrid 4 are gonna be the pick for them.
And oh my goodness, we're going into Chaotic Evil. This is such a funny map. It is unreal. There is so much, like, this is, I feel like I touched on this in the previous match with Zubin and Maddy, but in the showcase, Sparks put this map very well. Just think of it as Pump It #2.
Oh jeez. Okay, yeah, no, I'm envisioning I'm envisioning Pump It now, and if this is anything like that, this is Burst Central.
Yeah, lots of bursts, and also featuring a lot of flams as well. And
yeah.
The ending will definitely throw off one of these players. And I mean, I know Maddy played it in her match against Zubin, but I don't know about Spanner Dude if
Spanner
they
Dude did as well. So
okay, so both these players have the knowledge.
Separation, about 1,000 points.
Who had the lead is my question.
Advantage.
I think Maddy. Yeah, but it's a whole new day, whole new match, and yeah, you can already kind of see the visions on what I was saying here.
Yeah, these massive runs. Similar situation to the speed pick, where it's very easy to overrun some of those streams, and if you do, you're just clipping into the next sections, where if we start seeing like rushes of 200s, that's potentially what's going on there. The flams that you were mentioning coming through here, some LN tails as well, just for good measure, to keep you on your toes, but both these players navigating it beautifully as things stand, transitioning very well into the first real break of the chart a quarter of the way through. It is 167 points, less than that now as we continue on.
A singular hundredth of a percentage separating these two players, and we still have a lot of map left to go. It is basically in what Jay would say, one miss equals death, especially on a map like this where it's very easy. Pick up one break that turns into 3 or 4, as chain misses are very common in a map like this. And heading into those 1/3, both players not going to find any issue transitioning, but Spanner gonna miss on that transition, as now Maddy with the first actual concrete lead here, 5,000 points in her court, but we still have this back half to go. And as the map reaches another break session, it's the last one you'll get. It's 6,000 points in favor of Maddy right now, 99.79.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, I was gonna mention it going into this section that 1200 combo was gonna be the mark to look for, because that was the max combo for Spanner Dude. So potentially finding a similar mistake from their first run in this performance as well. Gonna get back up in that 400 combo cap, but it's 7,000 points of deficit. Still within catching range, considering the fact that they have the accuracy, and Maddy gonna find the drop in the transition into the ending here. And it was Maddy's turn to find the miss on their comment section. 1,600 was the mark for them. They find it once again, as Spanner Dude taking full advantage, 800 points and pulling away ever so slightly, but they find the break. 2,000 points going into the last eighth of the chart. Can Maddy hang on here?
But it is flam heaven in this back half, as well as these bursts. This ending gives everything that these players got earlier all in one. And right now, that lead is shrinking now, and it's starting to almost flow back to Spanner Dude right now. But 1.6k, it's going to stay in favor of Maddy? Question mark? It will.
Oh my god.
Maddy managing to keep her composure, especially in times like that ending. I thought she would rush one of those sections off of just pure nerve, but she keeps the composure down and takes the lead back in her favor and makes things 3-2.
Oh my god. Heart and mouth moment there at the very end. Just a rush of potential 200s and 100s. I would have to go back and see exactly what happened there to shrink it that much, but I mean, what these two players are transcending right now. They are finding it within themselves to put up performances better, equaling or bettering their runs from yesterday, when you would think that either nerves or fatigue or just something would put a damper on it. But no, they understand the stakes, it feels like, as things stand. But for right now, take a deep breath. Still got plenty more match here. Spanner Dude up to pick once again, and things are still square.
And
wow.
No. We're gonna see pink margins. Okay, this is on par. Not as difficult as Future Candy, but it is dang near up there with just terms of difficulty. This map is hard, but that's me, noob one key player, saying that when these two players are like pretty much like 3-4 levels ahead of me.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before off the record, but I mean, the step up from these players, the ones that are still remaining in the bracket in comparison to everybody else in the bracket, it feels like the remaining 5 players are just able to do everything, and they're nigh untouchable at times. So when we pit them up against each other, we see explosive results like we have been seeing so far, and I expect this one to be no different.
Yeah, these sections, like these opening sections, are so chokeable, especially that like final gallop there before it heads into the second string of notes here. And Maddy picks up an early 200 on I think the first one, and right now Spanner Dude will have a little bit of a lead to work things out here in that intro, but they trade a 200 back and another one, and that will give Maddy a little bit of the lead, but heading into a pretty bit of a rice abundant section here now, as Maddy has roughly 500 points in her favor, as that will probably trade over with the excess of 300s and some of these LNs here. Yeah, these players are virtually tied now. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there is very little separating them, but if there's anything that I know from late game picks with meta room, is that they get so incredibly difficult to interpret at times that any hesitation is grounds for misses or even just drop accuracy. And right now, these players are pushing themselves to the absolute limit, 600% separating both of them with a third of the map left to go. 1,700 points, the advantage for Maddy, but it is trickling ever so slightly with every single rush of 300s. It feels like Spanner Dude is just right on their tail, but Maddy finds a massive mystery transitioning into the last quarter of the map, and Spanner Dude runs away with it. 17,000 points in an instant with a quarter left.
Hey, one miss equals death.
One miss equals death. That is the tagline for this match so far.
As it came down to that ending string of notes, either like maybe just a simple misread. It is the most delicate of mistakes to really set things in stone. And just when signs of life were on the side of Maddy, Spanner Dude just blows on the candle and shuts the lights off, as we are back tied once again. It is now a best of 5.
Oh my god, we couldn't have asked for a better match so far. This is ridiculous. Again, both players overscoring. Spanner Dude PBing from their well, I don't know if it's their PB in practice, but in match, 1,000 extra points to their score on an already ridiculous run. Maddy also finding more points, but that string of misses at the end, I feel like accuracy would have won out in the end in favor of Spanner Dude. But those what ifs at the end of the day, you can only. Yeah, go ahead.
Keyboard issue. It was a keyboard issue for Maddy. Oh, I mean, man.
Them's the breaks sometimes. You're demanding a lot from the hardware, and oh man, you hate those situations, but at least it wasn't their pick. I think it'd be much more devastating if it was their pick. So no harm, no foul at the end of the day, but of course, those what-ifs could always be in the back of the head as you continue the match. They're going to go for Hybrid 2. They're going to go take care of some business, and we'll get right back on into this. Another pretty short map in the grand scheme of things as well. Just over 2 minutes. And I think this is a bit of a chance to take stock of the situation here, Sonny. What have you thought about this one so far?
This is, I feel like, with Maddy's penultimate pick here, it's really just going to be, I feel like it's one breakpoint away from really like putting the final nail in the coffin and really showing like a match determining winner here. But it, like I said earlier, it just comes down to the most minor of details that these players can get. Whether it's a hardware malfunction, you misread just one singular section, that's all it takes, and things just go lopsided for the rest of the map.
Yeah, and it feels like in this match more than ever, if the mistake does come out, it's how you respond afterwards. With these maps being as jam-packed with notes as they are at times, clean misses are few and far to come by. The fact that we've seen results screens as low as like the singular miss with 050s and like 100 is ridiculous.
Yeah, and just while this is happening, just want to say Maddy does have a 990k on this map from their previous match against Zubin. I think she took that point. Spanner Dude, however, did lose this pick to Peaceful with a couple misses in their pocket, but like I said, it's a brand new day. These players took probably time off screen to hopefully resurface and get these things down, nailed to a T. But for Spanner Dude, they know the mark to beat. So it's going to be a lot more pressure on Spanner Dude than probably the likings of Maddy. But these two players, like we mentioned a lot, one of the most prominent long note players you'll ever see in the 1Q scene. And Maddy gonna find towards and another break!
Yeah, not the strongest of starts from Maddy. So gone the dreams of that 992k being replicated here. It feels like you were saying the pressure's on Spanner Dude, but really they're playing with house money here. This is Maddy's pick to defend, and already off to a shaky start by their standards. Spanner Dude holding on to this 99.84% accuracy. They called this an RNG map, and they might be flipping heads on it as we continue on into the second third of the chart. Picking up a couple of 200s there, but holding on to the FC very importantly as Maddy finally gets back up over that 400 combo cap to try and contest against this 14,000 point lead.
But there is still map to go. We are in this back half, and leads like this can diminish in a snap of a finger. And Maddy right now doing an excellent recovery from that miss, but there is still map left to go. And if we don't see anything from Spanner Dude, things are going to be alarming on the side of Maddy. You're gonna have to pray for downfalls here, and this is the section to do it here, as one misread could potentially make things a lot closer than they need to be. But right now, only 1-200. That is fine for Spanner Dude. They can take that. And the final quarter left of the map to go. 14,000 points separating these two. Headed to the final section here. And right now, Spanner Dude pretty much in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, it takes about 0.75% to make up for if you're trying to make up a deficit if the opponent makes the trade. But with an FC run on the side of Spanner Dude 4 now, it's going to be hard going. It's still 15,000 points in their favor, and there's not a lot of tricks left up this map sleeve. It looks high and dry. It's going to be Spanner Dude taking the break point late on in the match to give themselves a bit of an advantage. 993k from them to better Maddy's best score in this weekend of performances. What a run from them to secure that point.
They really took that point, or they really took that score that Maddy set yesterday and took that personally, as now Spanner Dude now just 2 points away from securing their first ever podium spot in Joke history for them. But they still have to fight through at minimum two picks, but one of them is theirs.
Yeah, this is.
And this, I believe this is their second to last pick. Yes, it is.
They pick here. Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
It's oh man, this is what do you go for in this situation? Also, do want to point out that's a near 50k up score from Spanner Dude from yesterday to today. So really incredible stuff that's going on right now as they decide to round out the hybrid pool, go for hybrid 1.
Yeah, this makes sense in my opinion, honestly. As Rice, like we saw how Rice 3 went, don't want to go for that Rice component, and I feel like Spanner Dude, when looking at speed, I mean, Maddy put up a really good speed score against Zubin, and it is a lot less. It is a lot less dense than what Speed 2 was, like very, very less. So I feel like rounding out the hybrid pool and leaving Maddy with only the speed pick and one of the Rices, I feel like this is what Spanner Dude wanted, but they're gonna have to win this pick if they really want to put things in the dream scene that they wanted. And this is a pretty tricky map.
I mean, going into this, they had a 993k on this, or 992k rather, going into this. So intimately comfortable with it. Maddy not too far behind, 987k for them. So gonna have to see how it happens, but a couple of hundreds, couple of 200s as well coming through from Maddy, holding on to the FC very importantly, but it does give Spanner Dude a bit of leeway to work with now, 0.5% and 5,000 points going into this next section.
And some of these more fast bursts. Oh, Maddy not finding anything too risky, but there were a few 200s there as Spanner Dude. And there's a break from Maddy, but that wasn't still the first half of the map, but it's just Maddy really needs to climb back as fast as possible. That's 25,000 points in favor of Spanner Dude, and like you said, they put up an insane score on this map. But there is a lot of tricky flips, and you have to think Spanner Dude's nerves right now could be through the roof One slip up and that lead could shrink in an instant, but there is only a quarter of the map left to go. As if we don't see anything from Spanner Dude, they can walk home safely, but oh man.
I'm just looking at that UR bar from Spanner Dude right now. It is near dead center. It has been, that was about 200 to 300 notes of just raw Rainbow 300s there to just keep this pace going. 99.84 from them so far going into this last section. There's very little Maddy could have done there, even with a perfect performance. That is a hell of a run from them. 994k to put themselves on match point in this match. 1-200 that entire run.
Singular 200. And now Spanner Dude is only 1 point away from making history for them in Spanner Dude history and set up a match against HZ next weekend. But we still have, at minimum, one pick left to go. But it is Maddy's ballpark here, and she will go for Rice 1.
Rice 1. Oh boy. All right. Minute 36, basically a TV-sized chart. I mean, one of two situations. This is either quick in, quick out, just get this over with, or try to catch Spanner Dude on a miss and just try to hang on for dear life. Because right now they're going to need to get that break point back if they want to force the tiebreaker here.
Yeah, they really need a miracle here, and I don't think this was not picked in their match. Although Spanner Dude did, and that is a 991 for them. So that is their mark to beat for Maddy, is a 991. As we did not see this be picked against Zubin, like I said. So we're going in blind on Maddy's side, but Spanner Dude, we have the expectations, and we are expecting a 991. But who knows what could happen here.
Absolutely. This is 932 notes, no room for error for either of these players. Any misses, I mean, we've been saying it this entire match, a miss is death at this point.
And Spanner Dude!
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Finding a massive rush here at the introduction, dropping them down into that 98% range. Holds on to the FC. Great catch there, Sonny. And it is 7,000 points in favor of Maddy. That's how volatile picks like this are. Singular mistakes, even if they aren't misses, account for thousands of points at the end of the day. And now it is up to Maddy to hang on as best as they can to this accuracy advantage that is built up here.
Yeah, Maddy currently sitting at a 99.67 right now, but they managed to clutch it out in the end. Yes, that could have been a lot more detrimental though, but they managed to keep it at just 300s. This is very, very dangerous waters to be treading on, and they are only with less than 5,000 points. And like you said, essentially a TV-sized map here. You don't have much room to work with, and both these players dropping 200s at these more faster bursts and these flams. But right now, Maddy holding up with just 4,000 points with little to map left to go. But there is so much jam-packed.
Oh god, I don't want to say anything lest I curse either of these players. A couple of turns are coming through from Spanner Dude, but both players holding on to the FCs. There's very little map left to go, and Maddy hangs on. 989k. Oh, deep breath.
Maddy, are we doing this again? This is going to, I swear. I swear.
It's not there yet, but
I know, but I'm getting so many counts of deja vu right now.
Oh my god. They have lived and died by tiebreakers before. They need this breakpoint. That is the only downside to this situation. It is Spanner Dude's pick. They're gonna go for speed 1.
Oh my goodness. And
Solar Strike.
This is a very interesting pick to go for, because Maddy has an insane score on this. 992, and but Spanner Dude actually managing to out-ratio her but finding a lot more 200s than what Maddy found, as they didn't hit the 990k mark, but both these players know the mark to beat, and it's all on Maddy now to at least stay alive for one more pick. And you know what?
Oh my god, tiebreaker or bust here. That's all it is.
She's been in a situation before, twice, and I mean, oh my goodness, I don't even want to say anything. Just let that sit for now. But here we go. This map is pretty tricky, but not as tricky as Hold Angel here. As you can see, it's only 260 BPM, so it is a bit of a dip, but Maddy gonna pick up some early 200s here, but that's nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, but I mean, if it is easier, actually transition into this next galloping section, but not losing that much accuracy. It was just the opening note that they spiked. So 0.4% and a miss in the back pocket for Spanner Dude. Still plenty of time here in the grand scheme of things. 2/3 of the map, and only a little bit of free time above that 400 combo cap, and a little bit of LNs to help cushion the blow a little bit, get them back up over that 400 combo cap a little bit faster. But Spanner Dude is building up that advantage. 13,000 points now as Maddy tries to close the gap here.
And I mean, she is very prone to comebacks in that sign of accuracy. She can climb up very, very fast from these mistakes, but it's up to Spanner Dude if they want to really give anything back in return. And Maddy already back at that 99.4 range, actually. But Spanner Dude, 99.83. But like you mentioned, there is a lot of map left to go. We are in the final third, but it's just up to Spanner Dude. Look at that unstable rate right now.
They are dialed in right now. Once again, 99.84, replicating their performance from one of the earlier hybrids. Quarter of the map left to go, not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but I imagine still holding on to the FC. They must be feeling pretty good as things stand. And oh boy, what a road we have been on to get to this situation. Last couple of bursts beginning to rain down. Couple of tricky sections, more 200s rain down on the side of Maddy, not answered back by Spanner Dude as they manage to maintain pace, even climb in terms of their accuracy.
But hey, there's still this ending section here, but it's looking very dicey. And here comes, but nothing from Spanner Dude, and unfortunately, the run of a lifetime has concluded.
Oh boy, what a match. Singular miss, a black flag performance from Spanner Dude. 119 and 1 for the 995k to put a nice bow on proceedings here, avoiding that tiebreaker and punching their ticket onto the podium for JOKE4. It's just a matter of next week what color that medal is going to be. And for Maddy, commiserations. Like you mentioned, a hell of a run for them, but they will be eliminated here in losers finals.
In a game of insane upsets and absolute tearjerkers, unfortunately, it is the end of a run, of a historical run at least. An absolute magnificent one, nonetheless. Multiple upsets in this tournament from Maddy, as she will settle for 4th place, just shy of the podium, but still an insane run from her. But for Spanner Dude, their first podium placement in JOKE history. And ladies and gentlemen, we have your top 3. It will be the defending champ, Grape T, followed by the losers bracket, HZ404 and Spanner Dude, which will be duking out in the losers grand finals next week. All that next week. And all that is left is that sweet showcase, which will happen at a later time. We don't know yet.
Yeah, finalizing some things, putting some nice little polish on what will hopefully be the map pool to end all map pools for JOKE. I mean, historically, there's been some outrageously difficult maps in that map pool. I am very much looking forward to seeing what the mappers and the map poolers have cooked up for the remaining 3 players. But Sonny, you got anything else left to add before we close things out here?
I tip my hat off to Spanner Dude and Maddie for putting up an insane performance, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the grand finals for JOKE4, as we will see you all whenever the showcase happens and all that. So
whenever it happens, keep an eye on the Discord. We'll let you guys know as soon as we are able. But until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Your car is wrecked.